Hey there, welcome back to another video. Just like last time, my name is Nick. Got my notes right here like always, and today I'm going to be focusing on a league that I have not covered at all on my channel. That is the NBA, specifically the NBA Cup. The Knicks just won the NBA Cup about a week ago, and have they doomed themselves to not win the NBA Finals this season? Here's my argument because I think there is a pattern already forming. Even though we're only 3 seasons into the NBA Cup as a tournament, I think there's a pattern that might start popping its head. So, the NBA Cup was introduced during the 2023-24 season. Like I said, this is the third season that we've had it. But let's take a look at the past winners and how they've done. The Los Angeles Lakers won that initial NBA Cup back in 2023 by beating the Indiana Pacers. They won that game 123 to 109. That season, the Lakers would finish with a record of 47 and 35. They were third place in the Pacific and they were eighth place in the Western Conference standings going into the playoffs. They would go on to lose in the first round of the playoffs to the Denver Nuggets by a series split of 4 games to 1. The Pacers, on the other hand, would finish with that same 47 and 35 record that the Lakers had. They were third in the Central and sixth in the Eastern Conference. They would go all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, where they would be swept by the eventual champions of that season, the Boston Celtics. 2024, the second year of the NBA Cup, the final was between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks would win that game 97 to 81. So far, the only NBA Cup final that has not hit triple digits for either team. The Milwaukee Bucks would go on to finish last season with a record of 48 and 34. They would finish third in the Central and fifth in the Eastern Conference. They would go on to lose in the first round of the playoffs to the Indiana Pacers 4 games to 1. Another first round exit for the NBA Cup champion. The Oklahoma City Thunder, on the other hand, would finish the season with a record of 68 and 14. They were first in the Northwest Conference or Northwest Division, and first place in the Western Conference. Famously, they would go on to beat the Indiana Pacers in the NBA Finals 4 games to 3. In 2025, we had the San Antonio Spurs matching up against the New York Knicks in the NBA Cup Finals. The Knicks would go on to win that game 124 to 113. Currently, at the time of recording, the Knicks have a record of 20 wins and 8 losses. They are first in the Atlantic and they are second in the Eastern Conference, only behind the Detroit Pistons. The Spurs have a record of 21 and 7, almost exactly identical to the Knicks. They have one more win than the Knicks do. They are first place in the Southwest Division, and they are second in the Western Conference, only behind the Oklahoma City Thunder. So, we have two NBA Cup champions that have lost in the first round of the playoffs, and both runners up have made it to at least their conference championship in the playoffs. So, that's kind of where this question's coming in for me. Are the Knicks doomed like the other two NBA Cup champions? NBA Cup champions. While the Spurs, does this mean that they are going to go on a long playoff run, possibly matching up in the Western Conference Finals, or even making it to the NBA Finals? We're only about a third of the way through the season, so it's kind of hard to tell where these two teams will definitely end up in the standings. There could be an injury or something that kind of derails a whole season for them, but we don't want to see that. We want to see all these players stay healthy. It's just a little unrealistic. So, like I said, are the Knicks going to go on a run? Are they going to lose in the first round? Are the Spurs going to go on a run? Is what I meant to say. It's going to be interesting to see how GMs go about building these rosters in the future. Like, if you don't think your roster is good enough to go on a run for the NBA championship, do you focus more on hey, we could win the NBA Cup. That's kind of like how soccer goes about it because, they have three or four different trophies that they're always playing for throughout the year. So like the MLS, for example, you could decide, hey, we might not win the MLS Cup, but let's focus our energy on the US Open, something like that. So, what do you guys think? Do you think the Knicks are going to go, fizzle out in the first round of the playoffs? Or do you think they're going to go on a run? Let me also know, I'm a casual NBA fan. That's why I haven't really done videos on the NBA. Is the NBA Cup a serious trophy or is this just kind of like a participation trophy? I'm really not sure, so I'm genuinely asking. Let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you made it this far, you might as well hit that subscribe button. If you hit that subscribe button, it'll help me fund my hat addiction, which means you'll get to see your favorite team's hat on my head when I do a video on them. Until next time, bye bye.